Although my channel is mainly about music, today I'm going to start a video series of lists where I list a few of my favorite things from various mediums, which have also influenced me in life. Remember, these are my lists. I'm not trying to objectively list the greatest pieces of work for that medium or art. Let's get to it. Starting off with music, I'll cover artists or albums that have had a profound impact on me in no particular order. Number 1. Kendrick Lamar. This one goes without saying. The versatile, introspective MC from the West Coast is one of my favorite rappers and artists of all time. I mean, you can just look at a lot of the videos on my channel and you can see it. I got into Kendrick when he released his Section 80 album. The first song I ever heard from him was ADHD, which blew me away. The alternative sound, crazy flows, cadences, reflective lyrics, and the way he played around with his voice took me to another planet. It's very easy for artists to stagnate as they go along, but Kendrick never did that, which is another reason that I see him as a great inspiration. He really shows it's possible to reinvent yourself and keep going forward, as well as showing that you can be yourself and still reach success in the mainstream. Kendrick had good timing on his hand as well, but regardless, he shows that as long as you know how to package a great message, plenty of people will listen. Look at Good Kid, Mad City and you'll see this. A deep message and theme wrapped in approachable beats and songwriting, and then, once he had us all in his grip, he turned a hard left and gave us a super conscious boom bap funky album, which again came at a perfect time. With all the social unrest going on, this album couldn't have been delivered any sooner. Number 2. Nas Aiomatic. I feel like it's almost cliche to put this on a list, but I can't lie, this record turned my life upside down, in a great way. Before discovering this album, I didn't know anybody could spit like this. The rhymes, the flows, the sound, and the way it all came together to paint the world that Nas lived in was amazing. Every time I put this album on, I feel like I'm transported back through time to the 90s and I'm running down the ghettos of Nas's neighborhood, running from cops and the ops, all while there's junkies, busyness, and all matter of things around me. That's this album's most powerful trait, at least if you ask me. Number 3. Biggie Ready To Die. Now, there's not much in this album that I can relate to, but Biggie is a master of storytelling and he really knows how to make an album feel like a movie. Take the intro record on here for example. It basically shows you Biggie's life from birth to adolescence to adulthood, and it does it with few words. Plus, it shows, it doesn't tell. Think about that. A piece of music, an auditory medium, shows, which is a visual medium. It's able to really put a vivid imagery of his whole life and tell you so much about him in a short period of time. Most authors out there can't even do that, and Biggie, an ex-crack dealer, can. You see him being born when you hear his mom screaming to give birth to him, and his father supporting and pushing her on. You know he's a troublesome child when you hear his parents argue about his bad behavior, and you see how chaotic his home life is with the way his parents are fighting as well. You can see that he grows up to pick the streets and do shady things when he's about to rob a train and so on. The rest of the tracks show many things like this, how his neighborhood is messed up, the things he's involved in, such as crack dealing, thievery, and violence. The last track, Suicidal Thoughts, is a chilling way to end the album, which shows that despite the excitement of the streets, Biggie is fed up with it all and it's not all it's cracked up to be. No pun intended. Number 4. Mars Volta Deloused in the Comatorium. Epic, amazing, theatrical, cinematic, and just overall an amazing project. I found out about this album from a teacher when I went to audio engineering school, and man, was this one of the best albums I've ever heard. From the opening track to the last, it is a fun and even psychedelic ride that I can't get enough of. The energy on this album is great too. In its own way, it can get you really pumped up, especially the way you go from one energetic track to the next. It's a bit of an adrenaline rush, really. Number 5, Radiohead, Kid A. It's a bit hard to describe this album. Eerie, trippy, ambient, sad, triumphant, resilient. The list of words can go on and on. I first listened to this track back in high school, and it was one of my favorite records to smoke to and just vibe out to. The atmosphere it gives, the way Thom Yorke's voice sounds with his desperation and inciting an image of a man clawing his way out of hell, is all breathtaking at times. You might think I'm going crazy with these descriptions, but this is really how I can best describe this album. It's pretty great. Number 6, Kanye West. Where do I begin with this lunatic genius? Kanye is one of the most polarizing and captivating artists of the last 20 years. His sound throughout his career has been eclectic, diverse, old school, new school, experimental, jarring, and jaw-dropping. His actions outside of music have grabbed a lot of attention as well, though not always in the best of ways. He's always been one to challenge people, and he has a habit of going against the grain. You can call it his instinct or planning, but either way, it's definitely boosted his name. Kanye's first 3 albums are pretty similar in sound and subject, and really paint Kanye as a cocky but lovable underdog that you like rooting for. He may be a bit obnoxious and crazy, but he has a heart of gold, and that makes him really likable. Kinda like Naruto. Kanye is the Naruto of rap. His 4th album, 808s and Heartbreaks, really took a huge shift from his usual sound and really influenced a lot of what is going on sonically in hip-hop nowadays. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is really his redemption album and one of the most epic albums ever made. Yeezus is a poor man's Death Grips, but it's still a fun listen. Life of Pablo has a lot of interesting ideas, and Ye was pretty dope, but not really my favorite. And let's not forget his collab with Jay-Z, Watch the Throne, which was cool too, but not really one of my favorites from him either. Regardless of whether the album ranks high or not in my list, the sound and quality of the album is always high and pushes the boundaries or does something interesting and that is far from the norm. Kanye's sound when he first started out was very different from the usual, since his drums were programmed differently. Kanye overall also embodies a true meaning of an artist, someone who captivates, challenges, and is determined to get his ideas out there to share even when people try to stop him, which has been true throughout his whole career. Kanye, you're the man. But you still gotta chill sometime though. Number 7, Death Grips. The craziest motherfuckers to come out of music in the past decade. Also, the most genius motherfuckers to come out in the past decade. Their entire discography from top to bottom, beginning to end, pushes the envelope. It's filled with raw energy, crazy instrumentation, loud vocals, and a character that is both terrifying and mesmerizing to follow. Remember when I said that Yeezus was a poor man's Death Grips? Well, listen to Yeezus, then listen to Death Grips, and you'll see what I mean. This group really taught me what it meant to search and go further in the depths, whatever that may be. It showed me that each generation will always want to push the sound going forward, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's welcome and is necessary. Even Needle Drop pointed that out in one of his reviews of Death Grips, which was the Money Store review, specifically speaking, I believe. So there you have it. This was my list for my top shit in music. So let me know what you think and what are your favorite or influential things in music. It could be artists, it could be albums, it could be songs. Shit, it could be aesthetics. I don't really care. Let me know in the comment section.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content and analyses just like this. Be safe, loving, and prosperous. Peace.